Street legal doesn't mean slower, but illegal shortcuts absolutely mean poorer. The 10 tricks you're about to see don't just break rules, they break engines, budgets, and inspections in one hit. We'll walk through how tampering with sensors sends the wrong data, how exhaust freeing can hurt valve health, and how risky fueling and timing hacks spike heat and stress. Each item is a case study in cause and effect. Small change, big fallout. Stick around to see why the fastest way to lose money is chasing power without air-fuel balance, proper tuning, or compliance that keeps you on the road. Number 1. Tampering with emission sensors. A $20 cheat dongle sounds clever. Plug in, spoof a sensor, feel snappier throttle. But when the data goes wrong, the ECU trusts lies. It sees fake air mass, manifold pressure, or intake temps and chases the wrong fuel map. Rich tricks from MAF/MAP spoofing dump extra fuel. Plugs foul, fuel seeps past rings, oil thins, and catalytic converters get poisoned. Lean tricks swing the other way. Combustion temps climb, valves glow, and pistons can soften and collapse under load. OEM service bulletins link false sensor inputs to misfires and pre-ignition, and your long-term fuel trims drift. Then the codes show up. P0171 for lean, P0172 for rich. Inspections fail. Maybe you feel a tiny response bump today. Tomorrow you're buying O2 sensors, a new cat, maybe fixing ring damage, plus fines for tampering. If bad data ruins fueling, what happens when you remove the very device designed to clean up the aftermath? Number 2. Removing the catalytic converter. Less back pressure equals more power, right? Cut the cat, free the ponies. That myth falls apart fast. Modern engines rely on catalyst light-off timing and exhaust pulse tuning. Yank the converter and rear. O2 feedback shifts, the CEL pops, and some cars drop into limp strategies that kill timing. On the road, the flow isn't cleaner, it's choppier. The missing brick changes pulse timing, hurting low-end torque. Rich maps dump raw fuel into a now-empty pipe, superheating exhaust valves. Then comes the sulfur stink and cabin drone that wears you out on the highway. Legally, it's banned nationwide, with Clean Air Act enforcement and penalties that can hit 4 figures. Replacement-compliant cats aren't cheap either, and non-certified parts still risk fines. Dyno tests on stock setups often show 0 or negative gains. You lose inspection and warranty. If cutting hardware fails, what if you just rewrite the rules inside the computer? Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 3. Illegal ECU remapping. A back alley tune sounds perfect. Quick flash, big dyno sheet, no questions asked. No emissions compliance, no paperwork, just more. That shortcut pushes timing to the edge and cranks boost beyond safe margins. When ignition advance exceeds the knock threshold, detonation hammers pistons and chips ringlands. Extra boost loads rods and stretches head bolts, inviting gasket failure. Many illegal files disable OBD2 readiness monitors and close-loop control, so fueling drift hides while exhaust gas temperatures soar. Without precise lambda under load, you run too lean at wide-open throttle, cooking valves and turbine housings. Shops have documented non-compliant maps with monitors forced ready, masking misfire, CAT, and O2 checks while EGT spikes past safe limits. Fast today, broken tomorrow. The seized engine and tow bill cost more than a legal data-logged calibration with knock control intact. If the map is risky, swapping fuel might seem easier. Number 4. Using off-road racing fuel on public roads. Higher octane must mean safer power, but why do some engines stumble on race gas? Modern ECUs target a knock margin. If your compression and boost don't need that octane, the burn rate shifts, cold starts get lazier, and idle quality suffers. And if that race jug is leaded, it's worse. Octane isn't energy content. Many race blends have different volatility curves, so throttle tip-in feels soggy and warm restarts take longer. Tetraethyl lead coats, oxygen sensors, and catalytic converters in hours, killing feedback control and emissions cleanup. OEM guidance specifies unleaded fuel that meets the car's rating. Using leaded fuel on public roads violates EPA and DOT rules and invites penalties. You'll also pay more per gallon while risking costly O2 and catalyst replacements. You spend extra at the pump, then again in repairs, with legal exposure on top. Damaging sensors with fuel is one path. Some people just flip the sensors off entirely. Number 5. Disabling O2 sensors. One checkbox in a tune and the dash light disappears. Seems clean, right? Kill O2 feedback and you kill closed-loop trims. The ECU stops learning. It can run rich for weeks, washing cylinders with fuel and thinning oil, or swing lean under cruise, spiking temps without any correction. Here's where it gets expensive. Long-term fuel trim normally tracks aging injectors and tiny vacuum leaks. Disable it, and drift goes unchecked. Rich drift packs soot into turbo turbines and catalytic substrates. Lean drift causes surging and glowing exhaust valves. Readiness monitors rely on O2 activity, and downstream sensors verify catalyst efficiency. Turn them off, and monitors stay not ready, which fails state inspection outright. Laws against sensor tampering don't care that the light is off. You dodge a light, not the bill. Worse mileage, faster wear, guaranteed test failure. And if turning off factory logic backfires, the black box route won't save you. Number 6. Installing outlawed performance chips. A plug-in performance chip promises plus 40 horsepower with advanced timing. No dyno sheet, no data logging, just a glossy graph on the box. You clip it in line, and it claims instant gains without opening the ECU or touching a laptop. Here's the problem. Most of these modules spoof sensor signals to push timing and fuel everywhere. They ignore knock activity, rising intake temps, altitude changes, and ethanol content. After a few hard pulls, heat soak sets in, knock ramps up, and the chip can't pull timing. Transmissions see bogus torque data, so shift pressures drift out of range and clutches glaze. On modern cars, DPF or GPF regeneration fails when fueling is skewed. Regulators have cracked down on defeat-style modules, and dyno tests show gains fade once heat builds. Warranty departments flag piggybacks, and claims get denied sound is tempting too, until the law and physics answer back. Number 7. Muffler delete on restricted roads. Louder means faster until the meter shows up. A muffler delete on restricted roads sounds like free power, but noise laws don't care about your throttle pedal. Many cities enforce decibel caps, and enforcement uses standardized tests at a set RPM and distance from the tailpipe. Fail the reading, get a ticket. There's a performance trade, too. On turbo cars, deleting mufflers and changing pipe diameter can shift back pressure and slow spool. On naturally aspirated engines, you lose some mid-range scavenging, so the car feels flatter where you drive most remove resonators, and you add droning that wears you out on commutes, increasing fatigue on longer trips. Perceived gains are often placebo without matching intake, headers, and a proper tune. California enforces strict dB limits with fines that sting. You get noise, attention, and less torque. If you remove sound limits, why not remove speed limits? Number 8. Removing the speed limiter. The limiter feels like a leash, so cutting it sounds like unlocking the car's real top speed. But the factory cap matches your tires, aero, and brakes to a safe window, not a guess. Push past it and you can exceed your tire's speed rating. H-rated rubber isn't built for W-rated heat. At those speeds, tread can separate, sidewalls balloon, and a tiny vibration becomes a shake that rips components apart. Stability relies on alignment, suspension damping, and aero balance. At Vmax, a small toe error or worn damper can send the car wandering. Brakes overheat, fluid boils, pads glaze, and your stopping distance explodes. Trans and diff fluid temps spike, thinning oil and cooking bearings. Here's the kicker. Exceed limits, and you risk reckless driving charges, impound, and denied insurance after a crash. When speed isn't enough, some reach for chemical shortcuts. Number 9. Illegal nitrous oxide systems. Push a button, gain 100 horsepower. What's the worst that can happen? With illegal nitrous kits, plenty. Nitrous adds oxygen, so if fuel and timing don't follow, cylinder pressure spikes hard. Bottle heaters can overcook pressure, and sticky solenoids can hold open, dumping flow you can't control. Dry shots lean on injector and pump headroom. A weak pump sags voltage at WOT. AFR shoots lean, and ring gaps tighten from heat. Scuffing walls, tuners pull timing about 2 degrees per 50 shot and target richer AFRS under spray, but street kits often skip that. Carrying a plumbed system on public roads is illegal in many areas. Stock pistons and rods don't like sudden torque. Forged parts, standalone controls, and progressive controllers cost thousands. Doing nothing costs an engine. The cheap hit ends with a piston window and tickets. If one bottle is risky, what about pouring power from a can at the pump? Number 10. Using banned fuel additives. A tiny bottle on the counter promises race car response and cleaner power, yet there's no dyno chart and no disclosure of what's inside. You pour it in, expecting sharper throttle and fewer carbon deposits, but the chemistry can bite fast. Metal-based additives are the trap. MMT and similar compounds leave manganese and other deposits that raise misfire rates, foul plugs, coat O2 sensors, and clog catalytic wash coats. Some detergent blends use chlorinated solvents that attack pump rotors, injector pinels, and rubber seals, stripping protective films and spiking wear emissions climb, especially NOx and HC, and the test lane flags you. Regulations in multiple markets prohibit certain metallic and chlorinated additives because lab evaluations show sensor poisoning and reduced catalyst efficiency. Then the bill lands. Fuel pump and injector seal replacements, new sensors, a catalyst, plus retests and fines. Pennies per ounce becomes a 4-figure repair. Illegal shortcuts trade sensor truth, thermal control, and material limits for quick hits that turn into fines, failed inspections, and broken parts. You saw how bad data, removed hardware, and black box tricks stack heat, stress, and legal trouble until the repair bill dwarfs any brief gain.